Warning. This program may contain explicit language that may be considered offensive or inappropriate to children and some adults.
The following content is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey everyone, we're here again for another. I'm about to sneeze. For another writing sprint. I'm here with Liz.
Hey.
And we're going to do some writing sprints today. This is part of our Wine and Read series, where every Saturday we get together and we do either a sprint or we'll have a live reading of a script with talkback, workshop pieces. We'll have Q&As. We'll have a lot of different things, and so we're definitely going to keep that coming to you. So right now, gonna go ahead and just play some chill background music. We're gonna start our timer and time us into our first sprint. So we can go ahead and play some music.
Yeah, and if you've never been here for a sprint before, it's a period of time for you to work on anything that's kind of a work in progress. Be it a short story, a screenplay, whatever. It's a timed session for you to just sprint on into it and embrace it.
Alright. So I'll start our first countdown. So tell us about what you're working on today.
Yeah, so for anybody who's never been here before, I'm a grad student in TV writing, and part of what I have to do for this semester is write a pilot. So I'm working on a half-hour comic about a fictional sovereign nation on the land bridge between Alaska and Russia. And I kind of got an outline done in one of our previous sessions, so today I'm going to go through and work on the beat sheet. And kind of get a better idea of what it's going to look like when I transfer it over to the final draft. So, how about you?
I'm still working on my short story. I'm getting closer to the first draft being completed. Short stories are harder than I expected them to be because you want them to be concise but still interesting. So I'm balancing like what I can flesh out versus what I need to just speed through. But it's coming along actually.
Good.
I know, yeah. It's less. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, in terms of percentage that you've done versus how much you want to do. Where would you say you are?
I think I'm about like at 60%.
Great. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm about like 60% because, yeah. There's like a few more parts that I see in my head, like maybe like two more. Since I decided to do the flashback thing, it's really helped because I'm just like, you know what? That's really part of the story is seeing how their love like manifest, and that's a really big part of it. So I decided to keep that in there.
Good. I'm glad. That's awesome. If you are watching today, let us know in the chat what you're working on, because we want to hear about your progress and how things are going. I know we've had a couple people come back from previous sessions and kind of talk about stuff, and it's fun to see how you're doing. So let us know.
I'm just passing this out to some people.
No, that's great.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, did you watch anything this week that
I
you thought the writing was particularly, or the opposite?
I don't know, because generally when I watch stuff, I only notice when the writing's like horrible.
Yeah.
But a show that I am watching right now that I think has good writing, even though it's not going to air anymore, is How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes.
I think the writing's very good. Yeah, and they do suspense and like mystery very, very well. Very well. Top notch. I think when you have a show like that where you want to keep people in the present moment, but you also want to have them make like the audience have this fear of like anything can go down at any moment.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing that really well. Seeing as how it's the final season that I'm watching, you always have that idea that you never know what's going to happen because it's the final season. They don't have to worry about contracts and keeping characters around just because.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything can happen.
Anything can go down. Yeah. So I think they do really well with that. And that's honestly, because I don't usually watch dramas. I usually watch action, sci-fi kind of stuff. But that is something that I think is really important, because when you have binge culture, you have to write something that people are going to want to like sit down and watch and stay with.
Absolutely.
And they do that really well. What about you?
I just watched Promising Young Woman, which is one of the nominated films this year, and it's
Nominated for
really
what?
good. It's up for, I believe, Golden Globe,
Okay.
SAG Award, and Critics' Choice, I believe it's the other.
Okay.
It's supposed to be one of the Oscar contenders.
Did you say supposed to be?
Yeah, well, I don't think they've released nominations yet.
Right. I thought you were saying you don't think it's going to get nominated.
Oh, no. Like, it's not confirmed at this point. So I don't know.
Right.
But I hope it does, because I really enjoyed it. Without spoiling anything, like, I thought I like what they did with the main character, and I like her story arc a lot.
You like what did they do without spoiling it? What do you mean?
It's just, you know how last week we were kind of talking about how a lot of films spoon feed you exposition in a way that's just obnoxious. They don't really, they do a better job of that than other things I've seen.
It's really hard with exposition.
It really is.
Especially when you have exposition that is like a necessity to like the current moment.
Absolutely.
And you want to tell it in a way where it's like it comes out naturally. I think. What do you think the best way to deliver exposition is? That's a question I want to know.
So I'm kind of split on that, if I'm being honest. I had a teacher over last summer who said that nobody likes exposition, so just leave it out.
What?
And I was like, that's a very bold statement.
That is a huge statement.
Yeah, and so he said, basically, leave it out, but find either behavioral cues to put it in, or put it in through subtle hints in the dialogue, slowly but surely, and just kind of, this is mainly for TV, not for film.
Right.
And just kind of let it unravel as it goes. I'm kind of half on that. I think that there's a way to do it where you're not starting your script with a voiceover saying, this is everything that's led up to this moment, this is the inciting incident, this is the backstory. Like, I think that's a little too much, and I think it's just too on the nose.
Right.
So I think with TV and film being such a visual medium, I think maybe the answer, and I don't know the answer, but I think, in my opinion, it might be the show versus tell aspect of it.
Right.
And let them kind of fill in the blanks a bit more. Them being the audience, your viewer.
That's hard sometimes, though.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, it's a really interesting balance.
Well, because like, so what do you consider telling versus show? Okay, because I actually had a moment like that where I was writing something for the thing I'm about to continue writing on, and actually it's right in here. I don't know if we have enough time to talk about it. Okay, but let's try anyway. So it's right in here. He goes, yeah. He says, you do that everywhere. Can you see that? You do that everywhere you go. He's talking about taking pictures. I'm sorry. I can put it away. No, I'm kidding, Simeon. Jack sent Simeon his sly yet soothing grin. Snap away. Simeon smiled warmly and returned to his art. He took a couple of photos before instinctively turning back to find Jax watching him intently, soaking up Simeon's every move. It was such a new experience for Simeon being around someone who found him so interesting. Each quirk and imperfection was regarded as a new universe to be discovered. I'm going to change that. With Jax, it made Simeon's pace quicken, feeling totally desired and altogether vulnerable. What? Simeon asked bashfully. What? Jax responded. What are you looking at? You? Why? I don't know. I love when you're doing your thing. You get this look on your face, all crucial and intense. Your eyebrows get all scroogey. No, they don't, Simeon said, drawing his fingers across his eye bridge. Sorry. Don't worry, Jax assured, it's hella sexy. Okay, so here it is. Simeon had no idea how to respond, but everything his body was on fire. The way Jax absorbed him and expressed his affection so fearlessly. They had yet to share any sort of physical expression, but moments like those made it increasingly more difficult to resist. Simeon turned away and went to capture a few stills of a massive red sequoia, the biggest one in the clearing. I could have just read this. Anyway, Simeon was mesmerized. So, pictures, Simeon pressed. I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be Jax. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So pictures, Jax pressed. I mean, I get it. You're all artsy, expressing all this stuff you keep bottled up. All this stuff I can't ever get you to talk about. But why pictures? Why not sing or write poems or something? Besides the fact that I can barely sing Happy Birthday without shattering glass, Simeon said coolly. I don't know. I guess I just like beautiful things. I mean, just look at these things. Simeon drew his attention back to the tree. The only thing that made moving all the way out here to bumfuck Colorado bearable was the ambiance, right? Okay, so this section after this is going to be like very much him explaining why he like cherishes beautiful things that happen naturally and occurring versus like his personal life. And I wasn't sure whether he should say these things or whether I should put it in the narration, because I feel like putting in the narration's a little telly, but I don't know if he would say it either. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think I'm thinking about it because you're right. I see the dilemma. Okay, say one more time. What is it you're wanting to communicate that is considered exposition?
Well, in this next scene, he's gonna end up talking about he's got a scar on him, and he's gonna basically Jax is gonna see the scar, and he's gonna explain like how he got the scar from his father or whatever. But the exposition comes in him explaining why it is that he enjoys beautiful things, because what he's so often had to deal with ugly things, right?
Yeah.
And essentially, yeah, and I think I said somewhere, I think I said it earlier up here. I didn't. Oh, earlier in there, like I said, it was, yeah. So it's gonna tie into what's going on with his father in there, in that the fact that his father was like abusive.
Yeah. So okay. So what if he sees the scar and says something? It's Jax with the scar Simeon is noticing, or the other way around?
Jax notices Simeon's scar.
Okay. So Jax notices Simeon's scar, says something about it, and Simeon very quickly has a response that is very much like, I don't want to talk about this. And then switches the conversation to discussing things that are more beautiful. And in that moment, because it's such a sharp shift, that it might imply to the reader, this is a really sensitive topic for him. Something really, really bad happened, and the shift to talking about something beautiful implies that whatever that scar came from is like a deep trauma. Or, and this may be me projecting, but it opens up the conversation to being something beautiful, and then his behavior cue might intimate that this is a discussion that they can come back to when they're more comfortable.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
It is an idea. Don't have to take it.
I like it. So I'm gonna play with this in the sprint because we're actually at time. We're ready to go for our first sprint. Everybody, crack your knuckles. We're doing our first sprint, and I will see you on the other side of the sprint. If you're in the chat and you're working on something, damn, I forgot to get a prompt. Do you have a prompt?
Yes.
Okay, can you throw one up in the chat? So if you're in the chat and you're writing on something, let us know what you're working on, and we can discuss it during the next break. If you want to post it in the chat, whatever you're working on, and we'll discuss it live, that'll be dope as well. If you don't have anything to write and you want to just get some writing exercise out, Liz is going to pop a prompt in the chat, so you can just write based off of whatever she pulls up, okay? We're just going to wait for that prompt, and then we're going to go ahead and start our timer. That's actually great advice. I like that.
What'd I say?
About the sharp turn away from it instead of just spilling your guts.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like in life, people don't openly share stuff like that.
Right. It's short story for me though. That's all I'm thinking. It's like, oh, it's a short story. I gotta get it out of there.
Oh, that's true. Keep it concise. Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Okay. So the prompt is in the chat. We're gonna go ahead and start our timer and turn this music up, and I'll see y'all on the other side.
See you on the
All right. sprint 1 for the history books.
Ooh, that was quick.
DOR, they feel quick. Some people who do like longer streams, they do like longer sprints. I think if our stream was longer, which maybe one day it'll be, but they do a lot longer sprints. Like I saw this one girl, like woman, she did her sprint 15 minutes. She would roll a dice or something. Oh, let me turn the music down. She would roll a dice or something, and then whatever the dice rolled would determine how many minutes they would sprint. Yeah, something like that. So maybe it wasn't. You have a back of dice? I mean, I think there was more to it, I think. Because I'm trying to figure out how she got to 15 minutes. Because the most you can get with a bag of dice is 12, right?
No. You can do 20. I have one that is 0 to 100. Yeah, no, I have all the dice.
Okay. Well, I'm down to do it one day, for sure.
Awesome.
Reminder to anybody who's watching, if you're not part of the writer's room, join the writer's room. It's awesome. It's dope. We do stuff like this all the time. Next week, we start our book club. So we won't be doing sprints next week. We'll be doing our book club, which I'm very excited about. So
that's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Are we doing that over Twitch or are we doing that over Zoom?
We'll be broadcasting. It'll broadcast on Twitch, but we won't be doing it like this. It'll be a little different format. So yeah. That reminds me to message. We're going to be joined by Alex and Megan.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun.
Very excited.
I'm excited too. Actually, we'll text them right now.
So I see we got a couple people watching. What are you working on? Let us know. Drop it in chat. We want to be your cheerleaders. So
That part. Cheerleaders. So tell me about what you got written with your beat sheet. What is a beat sheet exactly?
So a beat sheet is so everybody's writing process is different. But for me, I go vomit of character descriptions and then like a basic outline of what I want to do with the story. And then for a beat sheet, it's a lot more specific. So I go teaser, act 1, act 2, act 3, or any other structure that it might be. And then kind of mark out the individual story beats within each act. So that way, when I go into my own draft, I kind of have it all outlined for me. And then I can just go in and put dialogue, action, descriptors.
Okay. You're more organized as a writer than I am. I'm not that organized.
Well, it's also part of my class requirement.
Okay.
Each individual step has to get approval. So I just have my outline of what it's rough outline and character description for approved. So now it's beat sheet, which is great. So at the current moment, with the last sprint, I got my teaser and act 1. Pretty solid.
So do you start, when I start my, I always do the act breaks first.
Oh, that's interesting. Like the transition.
No, I mean like how each act is gonna end.
Yeah.
And it, like when I start writing, it's like, okay, because I plan things out as like the whole story arc first. Like what's the show gonna be from beginning to end, and then once I know that, then I'm like, okay, episode 1. Even more than that, because I'll also do like what the show is gonna be, what each season is gonna be, the story, and then I'll go to episode 1 and be like, all right, so now knowing all of that, let's go. So when I'm breaking down the episode, it's like, all right, what are the cliffhangers for each act?
That's really smart.
And then once I do the cliffhangers for each act, then I'm like, okay, then I fill in the space between. Then I'll go like by each act and be like, what scenes? Actually, after I do that, I'll make sure like I'll know what scenes I need, and then I'll put them in order, so to where they'll progress at the same time.
That's great. That's very smart to do that.
Yeah, it's because I haven't been trained like you though.
Well, I mean, it's just different ways of approaching the same thing. But I like that you think about the in-between space very early in the process, because I feel like I tend to think about that too late.
Too late.
Not too late. Why? Too late is a relative term. I tend to think about it later in the process than I should, I guess. And so then I kind of have to go back and adjust within that streamlined flow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's how I try to do it.
How are you feeling about your story?
A short story?
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna read because at the very beginning is very like murder mystery noir kind of thing, and then but it's not that way. That's not the kind of story I'm telling. So it goes back and forth to that. So like it's gonna go back to the interrogation rooms and all the other stuff, but so I'm kind of just curious to have somebody. I haven't read it all the way through because I'm trying to just write it because I know if I keep going back, I'm just gonna get stuck on editing.
Sure.
And so I'm trying to just write it, get it out there, and then once it's written, then I'll be like, all right, cool. Then I'll go back and edit it. But I think I got some good clay. We talked about the clay.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
We talked about like so when I say clay, I basically am saying like the first draft is the clay that you need to make the vase. It's not the vase. So I got some good like beginning places to start and places to go. So I'm excited.
Great. That's fantastic.
It is exciting. Oh, man.
What?
My chair just popped, that's all.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. What were you about to ask me?
I was gonna ask if you touched any of the other screenplays you told me.
No, I haven't. This is all I'm writing. No, I haven't.
I mean, that's completely fair.
Yeah, because otherwise I won't get it. Because I'm that writer. Like,
What?
ping pong
One
brain.
at a time.
No, I will kind of write because I started Crystal City. I started Bandits. I haven't quite started a Princes and Kings. Just the reason I haven't started Princes and Kings is because I haven't. I guess there's no reason. Because I could actually write that first episode and be done with
Oh
it.
my gosh.
I probably could.
Fine. You need
That I need to write. No, because I'm not going to finish this if I do that. But I definitely probably could write the first episode of that. I definitely probably could. And then, Princes and Kings. What else did I tell you about? There's this movie. I told you about the apocalyptic movie, right? Yeah, that one's a good one too. I think that one is just like, I kind of just want to write it too and just see. But I don't know if I'm ready to write that one yet because I have to do some research, scientific research, to make sure that like, because where I've set it up with like the food and I just want to make sure that what I'm saying is actually feasible, scientifically. But
I get that. Have you ever watched, I think it was Shonda Rhimes' masterclass?
no,
Or any of her lectures about her writing?
I've not.
Apparently for Grace, whenever there's anything that she needs to research, she'll just put medical.
Right, I've heard about
It's
that.
smart. Like, that's...
Right.
There's no reason that the writer's gonna know everything. So
Right.
and if it's something you can verify later.
Right. You're
I
very
thought that
correct.
was so funny.
That's
In a great way.
probably the smartest way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, the specifics of the medical is auxiliary to the plot.
Auxiliary.
I don't know if that's the right way to describe that, but it's...
What does auxiliary mean?
The medical is not going to make or break the dramatic moment of that scene.
Right. Well,
Unless you're from the medical field watching it, and then you're like, oh, like, about this.
right.
So, what were you gonna... I cut you off. What were you saying?
I don't even remember. It's all Gucci though. So, yeah, but mostly I've been planning for this 24-hour live stream, to be honest.
Yeah! Tell everybody, remind everybody what that's gonna be.
That 24-hour live stream will be March 3rd. It's going to be a fundraiser. I've been talking to a charity. Hopefully we can do it in tandem with the charity. If not, it'll just be a fundraiser for Monelli Media. But
Great.
we've got some cool stuff lined up. There's a guy who's going to come and he's going to do like a segment on drawing.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's gonna and there's a few young women who are going to do a cooking show. There's a few young women who are gonna do makeup tutorial for an hour and a half. Of course, we'll have Talk It Out, which is a socio-political platform where we're gonna sit there and we're gonna have people of differing views, and we'll just debate a topic like that. Not really debate, but we'll discuss it. Then we're gonna have Geeking Out. Geeking Out is a podcast that is about exactly what it sounds like. Geek culture. And then we've got a financial podcast. We're gonna talk about finances. We've got another podcast where we're gonna talk about like reality TV show and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be very diverse. We're gonna have something for everybody. I hope everybody comes out and watches, and that it's a great time. I'm sure it will be. Hopefully, we'll raise the money that we need to raise. The money is going towards Willy Media's first ever self-produced filming project called Flirting for Destiny. Right. It's called Flirting with Destiny. Sorry. It's gonna be really fun. I'm excited about that too. Like, that's the biggest thing. I was like, however much money we make, it's all going to that, and that'll be nice. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm. I think I have to like. What am I supposed to set up like a GoFundMe, or is there another thing I can do?
I know for charity you can do Tiltify, but I don't know. I'll look into that.
GoFundMe is probably what's gonna be.
That makes sense. Yeah. And just put the link in the description.
Probably. I have to make it. So then I have to do that. That's on my list of things that I need to do is make a GoFundMe.
Out of curiosity, and we can talk about this off stream, but with all the different people hosting different segments, are they all signing into your Streamlabs account?
No, I'll be there. I'll be there. Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna be up for 24 hours?
More than that, because there's a live stream. There's a live stream that I do on Tuesdays, and this is when the 24-hour thing is a Tuesday. There's a live stream that I do on Tuesdays that is 8 to 11. Yeah, so 8 to 11, then 11 to 12 will be like planning. So I'll be up for 28 hours. That's if I wake up right at time to do the show. So we'll see.
I have my full respect.
But I'm afraid to go to sleep that day at all. Because if I go to sleep, like take a nap and don't wake up, no bueno. That's my biggest fear is like I'll go take a nap and be like, yeah, okay, guys, I'm going to be back. And like leave it up to somebody else. And yeah, because like when I sleep hard, no amount of calls, no it's not going to work. So I'm just like, I can't go to sleep. That's how it feels.
Oh, man. All right. Well.
We got 1 minute, everybody, till our next sprint. If you're in the chat, let us know what you want to write about or what you are writing about. I would really like to know. It'd be awesome.
Maybe I should probably pull another prompt for this next round. Ooh, this is interesting.
Liz is really good at picking these prompts.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So
They're fun. I enjoy them. I like to pick them out for myself.
You write with prompts?
I use them as like warm-ups when I'm about to start writing something, like, because most of the prompts that you find are very, very, like the one that I just threw in is read the last postcard letter or email you received and start a story with the first sentence.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, and so it's just kind of like it gets the juices flowing, and it kind of is a fun thing, but I can't say that I've written a full project based on a prompt, but I do like them as like just kind of easing my way into a bigger project.
So you said the last sprint was short. Do you want to lengthen this one a bit?
We can, yeah. Or I mean, to me they feel short because once I get like wrapped up in what I'm doing, I lose track of time.
So we're at 10 minutes. Do you want to go to 12?
Sure.
Let's do that. We're gonna add 2 minutes to the sprint right now, and we're going crazy. That's what's happening. We're going crazy. So yes. So we add 2 more minutes now. So everybody at home, there's a prompt that's up right now. We're gonna add 2 minutes to the timer. We're going to have a great time, and we will see you on the other side of the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and turn up this music on the other side of the sprint.
Yes.
Are we? Yes, we are. How about that? That actually went quicker than I thought it was. Oh, you like that time?
I
Okay, so I guess that's our new time, everybody.
mean, it doesn't have to be. I'm just saying.
I'm fine with it.
It felt good to me, but if it's not too lucrative, then
I'm fine with it. It's a good, great time. Okay, so let me boop boop. How much did you complete?
I got through Act 3, and so now I need to work on the tag a little bit. That'll probably be the next one. And
So then once you're done,
yeah.
go ahead.
And then go back through and make sure that it all flows really. But was the question is what comes next when I'm done?
Yeah, like so when you're done with your beat sheet, what's next?
If I was not in school, the answer would be take it to draft. But because I am in school, it's turn it in, get back notes, feedback, and either redo it or then take it to draft.
Really? But in general, it would be take it to draft. Because you're not always going to have like a professor telling you.
Right. So if it was just me by myself, then it would be straight the script.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. This is my first time doing half hour instead of 1 hour. So
For comedy?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because 1 hour dramedy tends to be my shtick. But half hour comedy is just it's a different thing altogether. So. My first time world building also quite like this.
I guess so. It is a different world. It's world building, but yeah.
It's not like sci-fi fantasy world.
Right.
It's your first. Like there's definitive things I can pull from, but it's the first time I've ever written about something that doesn't exist.
Really, that's all I read about.
I know. Like that's your wheelhouse.
Something like that. I'm excited though. I'm excited to read it. It sounds funny. I really liked your script, the Desperate Housewives-esque script.
Thank you.
So I think this I feel like you do that well. I think I assume that this is similar humor.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, funny story about the other script. I sent it off to different like fellowships, contests, that kind of thing. And I got feedback, which is good. And I my current rating on the script is a 7 out of 10. So.
Where do you get that rating from?
The different people that scored it.
Wow.
You submit through Coverfly, and then they kind of keep it all and then attach like the mean rating with your project so that other people can come look it up. I'll take it. I'm fine with that.
That's a great rating. So can people buy your script through this?
No. It's well, for the fellowships, the idea for these particular ones that I applied to, it would be to attach to a mentor and kind of develop it a little bit further and work out some of the kinks.
Right.
And then for a contest, most of them are for cash prizes, but I think the mentorship aspect comes with it as well. One of them is for an agency, which would be cool.
It would be cool.
Whatever representation and kind of get that ball rolling. I'm basically just very aware of the fact that I'm graduating in a couple of months, and I'm trying to
get some works lined up.
Yeah, get some work lined up, get more eyes on my stuff to figure out outside of an educational setting, like what's the general feel, and then hopefully network a bit.
What would you do? So once you're out of school, what's the first step after that?
My hope is that I can get a job.
Okay.
Either in development or as a writer's assistant.
Okay.
One of the two. Because I don't think, just from everything that I've heard, the trajectory, I would love to eventually go into the writer's room and then show run my own project.
Right.
I have to climb that ladder first before that's a thing. And so, yeah, development or writer's assistant would be one of the two options. I'm working on another project with a lady that I'm interning with. And if that is positive, she asked me to adapt. I just realized we're live streaming and this is not just you and me talking.
You was about to say something you ain't supposed to say?
Yeah,
I'm so glad you didn't say it.
She asked me, that's when I stopped. I was like, nope.
Right.
To stay online.
Right.
So what I can say is she asked me to adapt 2 books into screenplays, and if it goes positively, then that would equal a contract.
There's actually a book that I want to adapt, and I don't want to make this a thing, but there's one book that I absolutely want to adapt to a screenplay.
What?
Absolutely.
No, don't tell me.
I'm not gonna tell you no.
Off stream.
Yeah, because I don't think this is a book many people would want to adapt, or not that they wouldn't want to adapt it. I don't think they would think to adapt it. So I just want to. But once I said it, people go look at me like, "Oh, it's a great book to adapt." So I was like, "No, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot." So that's what I'm saying. I get how you feel like when you say, "Oh, I realized we were on there."
Yeah, like, I really, if it was just me and you, I'd tell you a lot more.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm with you.
Yeah, this is a fun realm to be in. So yeah. But all that being said, going into the world and getting out of school again in my 30s is crazy.
Yeah, that's because we have all these really unrealistic expectations for what it means to be like 30. Like I was watching this.
It's not even the 30 part that bothers me, and I'm not legitimate. It's more that like when I got out of Columbus, my mindset was you are young and you have a couple of years to kind of like fuck up and make mistakes and learn from them.
Okay.
You're gonna be fine. But like graduating school in my 30s is like you don't have you have a margin of error, but not near as much as you did when you were like 21.
Okay.
But I think the flip side to that is that I've lived a lot more life, and so I feel a lot more grounded in what I want. So maybe it'll be easier. I don't know.
Right.
These things would have been on my mind lately.
I mean, I think about that sometimes when it comes to this company. Like, there's moments where I'm like super like, yes, everything's going well, and then there's moments where I get impatient.
Yeah.
And I think that in anything, you just have to be prepared that things aren't gonna happen as quickly as you want them to happen, which is stressful and it's scary, but they'll happen. You really have to like develop a perseverance, so you just like keep on doing it no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody does. You just keep on doing it. That's how you really succeed. Like everybody I look up to, they have that in common, where it's like they definitely were faced rejection, but they kept going.
Yeah, and they created their own opportunities.
Absolutely.
Other people weren't willing to give it to them.
Absolutely. And then those people that weren't willing to give them those opportunities are looking at stuff and mad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically about Beyonce.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Because you were like,
I always forget about that.
well, she got turned. Her first 2 record deals didn't happen, they got kicked off a label as well.
Yeah.
And I mean now,
Her first, what was the girls group that she was in?
Girls Time.
Girls Time.
It's technically the same group. They just had a different name.
Well, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah. But I always forget that even Beyonce had to like go through a process.
Yeah.
And become who she is.
Yeah. And sometimes that helps you put it in perspective, just remembering that, like, especially with sometimes like even social media stuff, it makes you think that these people are just doing nothing and all of a sudden popping, when that's not the truth. Yeah.
I was talking to a friend about that last night, and we were saying how lovely it would be if all of a sudden social media just went away.
Why would that be lovely?
Because there's so much. The people that speak the loudest on social media are the ones that tend to cause the most cacophony.
Cacophony. Right.
And there's a lot of really, really great things about social media, and there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with it. But there's also a lot of noise.
Right.
And I guess, especially in terms of the entertainment industry, and there's a lot of opinions and a lot of thoughts and a lot of like, you need to do this and not that. And then there's a lot of people that want to be involved in the industry that present themselves as being a certain type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what you're saying, like they're not doing anything and everything is working in their favor, and they're gonna just post vague posts about like, well, I can't tell you about the contract that I got, but it's awesome and my life is fantastic, and you don't get to see the in between. You don't get to know the nights that they stayed up late working on their craft.
Right.
To be better. And
Right.
so I don't maybe eliminating it isn't the answer. Maybe it's people being more open about the in-between time.
Or just being also aware as you ingest information about the margin of error. I think that's something that the individual that needs to take into consideration. Like, there's such a large margin of error that is involved, and like everything doesn't work for everybody. Everybody can't be a celebrity. Otherwise it wouldn't be interesting. Like, there's just parts of it to understand. So all right, we're coming up on time before our next sprint. You want to go ahead and put that prompt up in the chat? Prompt up in the chat. Up in the chat. Prompt up in the chat. Hey. Go ahead and set this timer. Since we're crazy today, I'm going to go ahead and hit that 12-minute timer. It's crazy.
They make all the difference. I'm being confused, but also serious.
Hey, I'm not judging you. Prompt is up. Okay, so let's boost this music a bit. And then we'll go ahead and start. All right, time. It,
Absolutely have to share with you what I just found because I'm a little blown away.
I'm mad first. Like now that we've extended the time, I'm mad at the link that felt like that was quick.
I mean, we can extend it again.
It's too late. I'm upset with you. It's too late. So go ahead. What did you find?
Be upset.
I'm gonna be upset. What do you mean?
Good.
Ooh,
No, like,
oh my goodness.
So I was researching different things that you can do with a dead body.
Why were you researching that? For your
It's
show?
relevant to the script.
Okay.
It's
I hope it is.
I promise. It's for a section. But I found this, it's on CNET about like different things you can do with your loved one after they pass.
Right.
The one that I can't get out of my mind and is now going to be stuck indoors forever is a thing called the 21 Grams Project.
No, please don't let this be what it sounds like.
It's not drug related. It's worse.
Okay. Oh, my
they
goodness.
offer to memorialize someone in a very unique way. So you get a lockable gray box that doubles as a scent diffuser and an amp that connects to your iPhone. And inside the box, you get a sex toy with 21 grams worth of cremated ashes inside so that you can have continued in moment with your deceased one forever.
Some people, man.
That's a thing. It's an amp.
Not even is it a thing, people do it.
And
Somebody bought that.
Like, and this is not cheap. Their website, this is like,
Are you gonna use that in your show?
I don't think I can. I think that this is a very specific brand that I probably shouldn't reference.
You can reference the stuff. Can't you just talk about like you said that as long as you don't misrepresent them, so you can talk about it straight as like you can get this thing, but you don't have to name the company, right?
Yeah. Like if I name it and I'm like this, but it doesn't fit what I want to use it. It doesn't fit what I'm trying to do with it. But
Okay.
it is just hilarious enough to where I really can't believe this exists. And I just had to share.
I can. I feel like there's so many people out there in the world that do so many weird things. Like there's something everywhere for something. Of course, there's somebody who wants to do that. Like for me, I'm just like, look, that's weird. That is freaking weird. Very weird. Sorry if that offends anybody, but that's weird. That's strange.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend anybody.
It's too late now. It's out there. It's in the ether.
You know what? Now I'm marked and I'm forever canceled.
Did you write anything during the sprint? I mean, during the sprint.
I did. Yeah. No, so my beat sheet is basically done at this point. And so now I'm trying to figure out one, what to do with this dead body, and number two, because it's kind of loosely based on reality TV. I want to insert confessional style interviews.
Right, you gotta do that.
But I'm trying to figure out where to put them at this moment.
Right.
And how many to do. Because I don't want them to be distracting. I love them to be supplemental. But at the same time, it is a 30-minute show. So
You can do it. Plenty of shows are doing that now. But I think it works. So have you watched WandaVision?
no, not yet, because I wanted to watch the whole thing. And so I think
You can wait.
they're all
How are you avoiding spoilers? They're not all out. They're not all out yet.
Oh, they're not.
There's
Oh.
2 more episodes. How are you avoiding spoilers?
Well,
Because I've seen it and I'm still seeing like it doesn't hit me the same way because I've seen it, but when I hadn't watched it and I was seeing like they're very revealing spoilers too. They're not like really small spoilers. They're like spoilerific.
yeah, no, the big one about, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but someone showing up from another.
Right.
That got spoiled pretty quickly for me.
That is the part that there's clearly more to it. They haven't really explained that yet.
That's what I've been told.
They haven't explained it yet, but still, like, just him showing that moment, it got spoiled for me too. So that moment alone, I was like, screw all of y'all for spoiling that for me.
Like, I thought we learned from Game of Thrones.
No.
That and Lost.
Mm-mm.
You cannot do this.
No.
No, everybody's so quick to hop on.
Somebody said stay off the internet. How?
How though?
How?
Like, I understand that as a concept, but
I actually have to use the restroom. So while I'm gone, can you let everybody know about anything? I don't care.
yes.
Alright, I'll be right back.
No worries. Cool. So, how's everybody doing? This is me and y'all hanging out on this Saturday. It is evening for, I assume, everybody on the East Coast, but I am on the West Coast, so it is still very much daylight. So yeah, I just want to let y'all know about some things we got coming up. If you're just hopping into the stream, next week we're doing the first installment of our book club. We're going to be reading Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. And so if you want to be involved, you should absolutely join our Facebook group. It is called the Writer's Room, and I'm about to drop the link in the chat so that way anybody that's not actively involved in the group can hop in if you want. You don't have to post, you don't have to do anything. We're a group, we're trying to build up other writers and make you, just empower you to be the best version of yourself. Like we offer different talks. We do a series called Wine and Reads where we have actors read your script out loud and give you feedback. We had a teacher come in from Clemson who gave an intro to playwriting, which was fantastic. And we try to set up a lot of different opportunities for you to kind of expand your toolbox a little bit. So here is that link. Join us. Hang out with us. We love having you.
Writer's Room.
Okay.
I'm back. Writer's Room is awesome.
Yeah, dude. I love it. It's been really great for me, just in terms of the passion that everybody has within the group makes me want to be more committed to what I'm doing. So yeah, everybody helps everybody. I love it. I am also gonna tag out super quick, but I will be right back.
Go ahead.
So
I'm not as talkative as Liz. Side notes, everybody's watching. But I'm here.
Yeah.
We got 4 minutes, so yeah, go ahead and dip out.
Great. Alright, I'll be ready.
Alright. Hey everybody. So me basically, I'm still working on my short story. I've never written a short story in my life. I've never it's really difficult actually because you have to be so concise, but you still have to be interesting. That's really hard, and because there's so many things I want to flesh out that just take too much time to flesh out. So I feel like I'm rushing a lot of moments in writing it, but I was like, look, I'm gonna commit to myself and just write this thing from start to finish, and then once it's written, then I'll question and like dissect and all the other stuff. So that's why I'm here with y'all. Like I feel like I get so much more work done when I do my sprints. So that's why I'm sprinting. I'm thinking about just coming on and not sprinting and just writing and chilling and talking with y'all at some point. That'll probably happen this week. So, yeah. And I don't know if Liz told you about our book club. We have a book club that's starting next Saturday. We're reading a book called Save the Cat. Hold on. Save the Cat. I went too fast. We're reading Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. Boop, boop. It's going to be fun. It is a book about screenwriting. So we're reading that. And as we read it, we're going to go through... Did we find any... I'm going to look that up right now.
What's up?
Did we find any exercises or anything that go along with the book?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah. I will send them to you. Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Did they go by chapter or what?
Huh?
Did they go by chapter?
By chapter, yeah.
Dope.
I'm excited. Oh my goodness. Can you hear my cat begging at the door?
I can.
You can? That's always fun. Hold on. He figured out he can reach underneath it and get the door stopper and hit it, and it makes that.
Oh, no.
Of course you did. He is 11 years old and officially embracing his old man. So, cool. So we have another sprint in about a minute and a half. So I'm gonna grab another prompt, drop it in for you guys.
Dope. Apparently, Apparently, Golden Girls is coming to Disney Plus.
Oh my gosh, is it really?
Apparently.
That's exciting. I will actually watch that.
They said Jay Lawrence is gonna be the new the new Invisible Woman, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't.
Do you not like her as an actor?
I like her as an actor, fine. I don't like her as that character though. To me, Jessica Alba was the best. Like I loved her take on the character.
Yeah.
I don't really think Jennifer Lawrence's take is gonna be. There's something about. No, I don't. I think I'd much rather see like someone else in that role because I don't like what she did with Mystique either. I don't. It's the first time I've ever said that out loud. I didn't like what she did with Mystique.
What was it, Rebecca Romijn?
Yes.
And
it's
fantastic.
Because she seemed scary. Like when J Law played Mystique, it wasn't scary. It was just so I didn't like it. And Miss Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, she needs to be. I don't know. Only reason I'm saying I don't know is because we're about to sprint. So,
okay.
Yes, to be continued.
Cool. See you on the other side.
Yeah, wait, not quite yet.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Okay, let me turn the music up.
Alright.
Turn the music up. Sprint.
Let's go. And we're back.
Yay. Okay.
How you doing?
I enjoyed that one. That was a pretty good one for me. I finished the section I was on. I did not take your advice, but not intentionally. Not intentionally, because
No, that's fine.
actually I did take your advice. I just didn't. It just tweaked itself a little bit. So I definitely okay. So instead of him actually telling everything, because I realized like the audience, even the audience doesn't need to know everything about what happened. So I'll just read to you
Right.
what I wrote. I think.
Go for it.
That's what let me set this timer first. Side note. Oh, whatever. Nothing.
For the record, you don't ever have to take my advice.
But if it's good advice, when someone gives you good advice, you should probably take it.
I appreciate that. But I'm just saying, I know that we've like disagreed on stuff in the past. So, like, don't
That is different. What you're talking about. Anyway, okay. So, where was I at? Yeah. Okay. Simeon turned and continued his work, and Jack's. Oh, no. I'm gonna go from here. Simeon drew his attention back to the tree. The only thing that made moving all the way out here at bumfuck Colorado bearable was the ambience, Simeon said. But it's the moments, you know? It's the beauty stuck within that slice of time that we get to live in forever. Simeon turned and continued his work, and Jax came up behind him and wrapped him gently in his arms. Jax, what are you doing? I just want to hold you. Everything in Simeon's body was telling him to run, to release himself from this man's embrace, but he didn't budge. His chest felt like it would implode, and his skin rippled with heat, but he did not move. After a moment, once he knew Simeon wouldn't move, Jax tenderly began kissing Simeon's neck. Simeon couldn't hold back his desires and leaned into Jax's cradle. I want you so bad. Jax grabbed Simeon around the waist and turned him around so that he could see Simeon's face. Don't be afraid, Jax said, looking deep into Simeon's eyes. I won't hurt you. Simeon wasn't feeling fear or anxiousness. What he felt was passion, the fervor inside of him that he'd been resisting ever since Jax first sat down with him at the diner, came rising up. Simeon leaned forward and pressed his lips against his lover's, softly at first, and then each kiss grew in intensity. After a moment, they pulled apart and took each other in. Simeon spoke first. I've never, but he couldn't finish his sentence. Jax cupped Simeon's chin in his palm and lifted Simeon's eyes back toward his own. I won't hurt you. I'd never let anything happen to you. Simeon didn't know what to think. His ability to be trusting had been shattered long ago. But there was something about this boy. A fire had been ignited and it could only intended to grow. I know, Simeon told him before leaning back in and kissing Jax once again. Jax's scent was intoxicating. Each muscle in his body pulsed every time Simeon touched him. Enwrapped in their ardor, the two men fell to the ground. Simeon traced his hands over Jax's body, indulging in every inch. He couldn't believe it was happening. He had always felt so much guilt over his attraction to men. But there in that moment, there was none of that. There were two men that they weren't. Sorry. They weren't two men lusting away at one another like he had so often been told was the case. They were two beings embracing each other, comforting each other in a world that so often rejected them. They were two humans sharing in love. Jax's hands glided down Simeon's torso and dove underneath Simeon's shirt. That's when he felt something peculiar. The skin he felt was leathery and brittle. Jax's hand jerked on contact with the dead skin and Simeon bolted up. Stop, he said as he pushed away. What was that? Jax? Simeon stood and moved away from Jax. Simeon, what was that? It's nothing. You ain't acting like it's nothing, Sim. Simeon turned his back to Jax and said, Can we just go, please? Something was clearly wrong, but Jax knew that look. The glare in Simeon's eye. He had warned it himself on several occasions. It was the confusion and agony of trauma. Jax knew he had to tread lightly. Talk to me, Sim, Jax said as he closed the distance between he and his love. Once he was close enough, he gently placed his hand on Jax's shoulder and turned him to face him. Simeon's eyes had grown red and begun to water. Jax reached up and caught a tear right as it fell from Simeon's eye. With a glance, Jax told Simeon that he was safe. Then he reached for the bottom of Simeon's goldenrod plaid button-up and lifted it. There he saw a hellish, darkened, shiny, mangled mess of skin in the shape of a rounded triangle. Jax's rage began to boil. Who did this to you? Simeon was hesitant to explain. The experience was one he had fought to repress and one he'd never shared with anyone other than his mother. Yet, as he looked into Jax's gaze, he felt no fear, no mistrust, only adoration and sanctuary. So, he spoke. My father. So instead of saying everything that happened, I just realized we don't even know, we need to know what happened. We just need to know that his father did it.
Yeah. No, I think that was a really great way of transitioning into that.
Great.
Aww,
I know.
I want to hug him. That's like...
I know.
That's such a tender moment.
Yeah. I felt like rushed, but I guess reading it back, it didn't feel rushed. So that's good. Reading it back, it doesn't feel rushed at all.
Great job.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I still want to keep that mystery there, like what's going on and everything like that, but
Sure.
of course.
And I think it's very much there because you don't really know what it is, but you get how deeply it affected him and how Jax is kind of reacting to that.
Right.
In his choices in reacting to that, which is ultimately, from what I can tell, is going to be really good for their relationship, and that it helps. I would imagine it would help Simeon open more to Jax and be more vulnerable.
Right. Of course.
Because he's creating like this safe space.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you.
It's very, very tender. Yeah.
Thank you. That's the thing about it. Like from the beginning, like the whole point of this is that it's a love story, but of course you want to bring them in with like the what the hell is going on at the beginning. So I just want to make sure I have that balance between the two things.
No, it's very different. I like it.
So what'd you write?
I finished the beat sheet all the way through the text, which is great. And so now I'm going back through and I'm starting to think about the confessional inserts and what I want them to be and where I want them to be. So with that, I got through Teaser in Act 1. And I want them, because I don't want them to be things that kind of like, without giving away the story, because I am a believer in collective consciousness and all that. I want the confessionals to be for the crew members, not for the cast.
Ooh.
And they're not necessarily for the sake of the show. They're more for like legal action after the fact, since they're part of a murder cover-up. And so they're doing these confessionals, one, for their personal therapy for posterity, but two, so that they can show it after the fact and be like, this is what happened on this day.
Right.
You're not culpable. And so, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how many and what specifically they're saying as this is all happening in a way that doesn't kind of truncate.
So the crew is officially a part of the cast then.
100%. Yes.
I like that.
Because you see reality stuff and the crew is never involved. And so it would be interesting to see.
Oh my god, it's almost 8 o'clock. I didn't realize we were that close to 8. So this is going to be our last sprint after this. But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's it. Like, trying to figure out that element of it. And I'm kind of excited with the way it's coming together. Like, I feel like the last time we talked about this, I was like, I don't know, man.
No, I think you've written yourself something that like has so much room, and I think you just have to like give yourself that permission to kind of like really play with it. 'Cause I think that's a brilliant idea, and I think you have like a ton of like space to do some brilliant things with this kind of project. Because you can use real world stuff, but you're using it in a way that it incorporates fantasy. Not fantasy, but this kind of fantasy. Yeah. And I think that works well.
It's funny because I keep thinking, I have a class that I'm in right now about teaching. And every time I pitch a project, the teacher is always like, that's out there. That's different. I like it. I don't know who would watch it. But, okay.
I think I'm learning something about the stuff that exists on TV. Like, there's an audience for everything.
Yes.
The question is, people just want it to be good. Really. That's what people really want. They want to be thoroughly impressed by the talent on screen and by the talent off screen. That's really what people want. I'm not saying it's not possible. There are definitely shows that I feel like deserved longer runs, and they didn't get those long runs. There's definitely that. But for the most part, what would be a show? I'm thinking of this show called No Ordinary Family that I think would have done much better now than when it came out. It was basically like the live action Incredibles.
Wow.
It was so good. It had like Julie Benz and Michael Chiklis, I think that's his name. And then one of the Panabaker sisters. It was really good. Like, this family got superpowers. I think the daughter was like telepathic. And then the mother, I think she had super speed. I don't know. There were different things. It was really cool, though. It was interesting. And now with stream and binge culture, that show would have been everything. But when it came out, that wasn't a thing. So I just think, there's a lot of shows. There's other shows out there, too. Most of the shows that I'm watching right now are actually not canceled. But there are definitely ones out there. For sure. Okay, so we're coming up on the next sprint. We're going to drop that prompt. It's going to be our last sprint. We're actually going to only do 10 minutes on this one, just because it's our last sprint. And we're already more than 10 minutes past time. For those who hung out with us, you're awesome. Hang out with us. We'll talk a little bit more after the sprint. And I hope you all are getting some of your writing done.
Hope so, yeah. Whether it be short term, long term.
Yes.
That you're just putting words to tape is literally
Epic.
all you're required to do. And if you're doing great.
Alright, so I'm going to boost this music. All right. That is the end of that sprint.
Ooh, all right.
Got some good little work done. I'm actually coming along with this. Sorry. I'm actually coming along with this short story.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Can you hear the music? Barely.
Not at the moment.
Yeah. So I gotten pretty far on it. How about you?
Yeah, no, so I got through acting with the semester, and so I still have Act 3 in the tag, but I think I can actually get that done by the end of the night.
Do you find that it helps you when you start to do the draft, all this other stuff?
Yes, yeah, it makes it go significantly faster. Because I like to, I overanalyze everything, and so if I can do that prior to opening final draft, then it's just easier to dive into it. And then
Right.
what I'll do is I'll go to the from my little sheet and like copy and paste them into draft, and then I'll use those as the guidelines to build up the scene.
Right. That's kind of dope.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Everybody's got their own process, so.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for us today. We'll definitely be back next Saturday, but next Saturday we're doing our first book club. So same time, 6 o'clock every Saturday, we'll have some type of event, and we will do our best to stream to Twitch. If we're not streaming on Twitch on a Saturday, that means that we're doing one of our live script readings, because we don't do those publicly, we do those privately so that the writer can have, their privacy. But we will read someone's screenplay, and then we will like give a talk back where people can give their ideas or advice or anything like that, or any sort of suggestions. Also, we have our 24-hour live stream that's going to be on March 3rd. We're going to be talking, we're going to have a makeup tutorial, we're going to have a cooking tutorial, we're going to have writing tutorials, we're going to have an arts panel, we're going to have a political socio panel, we're going to have a geek panel. It's going to be a lot of fun things. We're going to have an artist come and do some sketches and basically work through how he sketches and how he draws. I'm so excited about it. It's really shaping up well. Thanks everybody who hung out with us. We definitely got some viewers, so I'm really going to say that I appreciate y'all being here. We'll be back. I'm thinking about doing some writing sprints sometime in the this week to make up for the fact that we're not going to be doing them Saturday. So stay posted for that, and just keep an eye out for our channel when we go live. If you want, you can go ahead and like and subscribe to our page on Twitch, so that way you'll know when we go live. You can also hit us up on YouTube by searching Wonelly Media. That's WOENELLY. And then I think you can also search facebook.com/Wonelly Media, and you'll find our Facebook page as well. You have anything, Liz?
I do, yeah. If you're a writer and you have a finished script, essay, short story, any form of writing at all, and you would love to have it read out loud and then receive feedback after the fact, send myself or Gary a message through Facebook, and we would love to set that up for you. We're currently looking for people for March, April, May. We got a couple people lined up. We're super excited. Charlotte's going to be the first weekend in March. I know she's definitely ready to go. Or on the flip side of that, if you are an actor and you love to read scripts, or if you are the type of person to just hang out and read, let us know. We want to include you.
And if you want to look us up on Facebook, you can find our Facebook. I just put them in the chat. That's my name and then Liz's name. That's how you find us on Facebook. We're pretty unique names, so you shouldn't have a hard time finding us. So I hope to hear from you all later. You guys are awesome. I hope that you have a great weekend, and we shall see you later.